It's as simple as that. And I want to talk about something before I get started with the show. Today's show is entitled Big Fish, My Journey, 1970 to 71, on the Road. Now, I know it's called the Recruiter Podcast, and I'll try to draw some parallels to this crazy story that you're about to hear, to automotive and to recruiting a little bit. Before I get started, I want to cover something that I've covered at the end of a couple shows, and I want to talk about YouTube analytics for a little bit. Now, I think Facebook's probably a little bit different, but YouTube analytics say that the average watch time for a YouTube video is 5 minutes and some odd seconds. Now, in a long-form podcast such as this, that sometimes some of these have been 4 hours. Today's not going to be 4 hours, so everybody relax. Ours is like 20 minutes. So very seldom in any podcast of any length, unless you're Joe Rogan, does anybody see the end of the podcast. And a couple of times I've talked about this at the end of the podcast. And I really need car dealers, car salesmen, managers, whatever. I need you to listen to what I'm about to say. It's very important. And I've seen it a lot, and it's happening. It's happening a lot. So here's what's going on. And this is the most political thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into everything that's happening. But I am going to talk about COVID for a minute. I'm going to talk specifically about masks, hand sanitizer, social distancing for a minute, from a matter of good business and potentially bad business and potentially worse. I see all the posts. I get constitutional rights. I'm tired of all this. No one's going to tell me to wear a mask. No one's going to tell me how to do this and do that. I see a lot of it in groups, I don't go and look at what everybody does, but I'm thinking most of these are salespeople. Let me give you, what's happened already, what is currently happening, and what's definitely going to happen in the future. Good friend of mine's a lawyer. And here's where some of this information comes from. You've already seen it a little bit. A customer walks into a dealership. No one's wearing masks. There's no X's on the floor. There's no social distancing. There's no hand sanitizer anywhere. It's just like, COVID bullshit. It's not real. And we're all good here. And it's business as usual. You're right as an American. I totally get all of it. And I'm on board with it. I hate wearing a mask, going into a place wearing a mask. I hate it. I can't wait to get it off of my face. I totally get it. Now, what you've seen, if you watch my timeline daily is filled with two things. Memories of classes and dealer reviews and so forth from the past, whether they're, 6 months ago or 6 years ago, it doesn't matter. I load it up with it because I think it's cool. And it's obviously marketing. You'll also see current pictures of our classrooms and our trainers that are on site. That's part of our business. Is where what we call a recruiter trainer will come to the dealership, hold the interviews at the dealership, and do some initial training. It's one of the services that we offer. And we made this decision very early on. No one was real excited about it. But they all are required, all the Automax trainers, to have their own stock of masks, hand sanitizer. Some of these guys carry Lysol and so forth. They're buying it, when they're locally. And they practice social distancing. You'll see it in the pictures. Now, I don't know what some of you think about that. And The ones that go, oh, geez, that's sickening. It's like Automax is just playing into the whole fear thing. Bullshit. Okay, because here's what's happening. You're already seeing it in reviews. Here's the way the world works, ladies and gentlemen, in the automobile business. There are bad people out there. There are people, gosh, I am going to get political. There are Karens out there, or Kens, whatever you want to call them, male, female. There are people out there that are just nuts. They're not stable humans. And they walk into your dealership and they see things and they interpret them as you not being concerned about their safety or anybody else's safety. They leave, they go home, they're going to blast you on a review site. They are going to blast you. I've already seen it. I've seen it a number of times. That's best case scenario. Let me share with you what's happening real world right now, right from the lips of a lawyer friend of mine. The average settlement figure right now, and he didn't mention a number because he didn't know an exact number, but it's being talked. This is a whole new cottage industry for lawyers. The average settlement figure is in excess of $54,000. So a person walks into a dealership. Let's say they're there for a job interview and we, Automax Recruiting, is not there doing the job interview, but you are. You're in a closed office. You're 3 feet away from the person. You don't have a mask on, hand sanitizer, nothing. That interviewee, he or she leaves. They go right to a lawyer. Here's what happened. I want to sue him. I didn't feel safe in that environment. A lawsuit's going to be filed. $1 million. Whatever. He or she's going to settle, and a dealer going to write a check. And supposedly the average of that check right now is in excess of $54,000. Customer walks in. Didn't get together on the trade, didn't get together on the price, didn't get together on the rate, didn't get together on whatever. Or they're just nuts. They leave the dealership, they go right to a lawyer and say, I felt unsafe at this dealership. They didn't practice this, that, another thing. No one was wearing masks. I'm going to sue them. If you don't think that this is happening, your head is in the sand. Now, if you want to run your business that way, dude, it's your business. Run it however you want. I don't agree with any of it. I think these people are nuts. But I'm telling you real world here. So when you see a picture on my timeline of our recruiter trainers practicing safety, don't go, oh man, they've bought into the bullshit. No, we're protecting ourselves, our liability, and the dealer's liability. That's what we're doing. What are you doing other than showing how macho you are? Male or female? Doesn't matter. I see it from both. All right, wear a mask. What's the big deal? Because I'm telling you right now, one of you is going to get your dealer jammed up. You just flat out are. And frankly, I don't know if there's enough censorship on social media right now to drown there's too much. It's out of control. However, in saying that, I would be very, very, very careful as an employee of an automobile dealership that you're not representing your dealership as being an unsafe place to come visit. Because that'll come back to bite you in the ass. Someone's going to sue your dealer. That's a fact. The possibility is a fact.